dolls that you can get, where there's like the tiny little doll, and then it's inside the medium size, and then the larger one, and then the really large one. That's like what we're going to be doing this semester, almost like we have a giant microscope on the Earth, and then we're going to zoom way in sometimes and zoom way out to the bigger picture other times. Getting a little bit more specific now as we go forward. Scientists really like to categorize things. It makes our lives a lot easier. So what we're going to talk about to keep ourselves organized is something called a hierarchy or taxonomy, which is the study of different groups of organisms. And there are several different major groups to keep in mind. I'm going to give you an acronym to help you remember all of them. And I'm just going to do a brief overview of it now, because later in the semester we'll have a whole chapter dedicated to how we classify organisms and why we classify them that way. So let's start out with this acronym. So here are our letters: D, K, P, C, O, F, G, S. Here's the question: do kids prefer Cheetos over fried green spinach? Well, that actually applies to domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So we know that we are animals, right? So that would be our kingdom. We are in this domain of cells that have nuclei and organelles. We are eukaryotic animals. We'll skip down for now to our genus and species. You've heard that humans are Homo sapiens. Homo is our genus name, and sapiens is our species name. So our actual scientific name comes from our genus and our species. So I've introduced a lot of new ideas to you so far. The tree, what is science, laws and theories, what are our main topics of biology, and then once we get into life more, how do we break that down even farther? So we're going to reference all of these schematics a bunch of times together this semester. The last portion of the first lecture is going to be an experiment that you can actually run at home, kind of like an exercise. And it starts with, like some experiments do, a question. So, do you have a cold right now? Do you know anyone that has a cold? Have you ever had a cold before? I'm guessing the answer to any of those is going to be yes. I ask you this question: can you taste when you have a cold? If you were to eat a Skittle, for example, hint, hint, go find some Skittles or Starburst or something, can you taste one when you have a cold? Let's take this even farther. Does smell affect taste? So let's try it. In your textbook on pages 22 and 23, you have delineated for you the stages of a scientific investigation, or AKA the scientific method. So I've presented you with a question: does smell affect taste? And so what we need to do next is come up with a prediction. So my prediction will be smell does not affect taste. So that's what I'm gonna see if my data supports. So I need to collect some data about this to see, whether or not my prediction is valid. And so I'm gonna take some Skittles, and I'm gonna grab a partner, someone who you live with, or a friend, and you're gonna have your partner count out some Skittles for you. And what you want to do is make sure that your data actually has something to do with smell and then some other data that is where you have eliminated your ability to smell. So what can you think of that how could you eliminate your ability to smell? Well, you could plug your nose. So what you want to do first is have your partner give you some Skittles. Your eyes need to be closed because you can't see what colors you're going to be eating. And you're going to plug your nose, eyes closed, and you're going to eat various Skittles while your partner writes down, well, I gave him a red Skittle, and he told me it was green. And they're going to take your data for you. Your partner's going to count out more Skittles, and you don't have to do one of each color. Don't try to, I guess, guess ahead of time what you think the color is going to be because, oh, I already tasted a red one, and well, I know I can't get another red one. That'll skew your data. So the second trial, you're going to have your partner feed you more Skittles, but this time you're going to have your nose open. Collect your data and see whether or not your data supports whatever prediction or hypothesis that you made. I'm going to have a section on Blackboard this week where you can turn in kind of like a lab report, but it's going to be very brief in nature. I'll post a rubric for that so you can see what I'm requiring of you, and then we will see what the class comes up with. So that is all I have for our first lecture together. You're going to have the short lab report, and then another small assignment also, which will be available on the Blackboard. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me or to use the Ask the Instructor discussion board portion of Blackboard. And welcome to Biology Chapter 1. Thanks so much. I hope this was helpful.